Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I am the Crypto Crow. It is currently 1:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I am live. Cornucopias is about to donkey kick everyone in the liver. Yeah, there's some good stuff that I'm going to share today about the Cornucopias Metaverse project on Cardano. I'm going to share a little bit of information about a Cardano price prediction. I've got some XRP news. I've got some Cardano news. I've got there's a lot to cover today, so I'm going to try my best. Not to get overloaded. What's going on, Abscond? I'm going to try my best not to get overloaded and super passionate and super just rah all over the place, because there's a lot to cover, and I want to make sure that my head doesn't feel like it's going to explode, and I want to get to it. So we'll go ahead and start diving right in. First thing I wanted to announce, obviously, that you can see to your right, my left, is my wife has officially begun her own journey into the YouTube space. And we've got some pretty helpful videos up to start things off. Give her a follow if you don't mind. Just subscribe to her channel. There's 10 videos up. There's basically four. I think there's four little longer videos. One of them's just an introduction as to who she is. She's going by the Dancing Health Nut on YouTube. And she's so knowledgeable about supplements, health, dancing, wellness. She's on a mission. I'm on a mission to be comfortable and live a good life. She's on a mission to live to be 100, and I'm pretty sure she's going to do it. She's 40 years old. She looks like she's 30. And she just looks phenomenal. I mean, every year she just gets better and better. It's amazing what she's able to accomplish and what she does. And if anyone out there, women, even men, I mean, she used to be a personal fitness trainer for 10 years, a competitive gymnast for 10 years. She's been dancing now for, 7 years, something like that, maybe longer, 8 years, just different styles of dance and everything. Now she's written and directing this play coming up at the end of the month. She's just, she's amazing. And you could definitely learn a lot from her and her channel. So, she's going to be covering all sorts of topics, from relationships to, she'll probably even talk about like sex, which will be cringy for any of you. She's just, she loves to share what she knows, what she learns, and she researches everything. So I'm sure she's going to talk about it. Obviously supplements, health, working out, fitness. Keep in mind, this woman went from 170 pounds pregnant at 5 foot tall to competing in a bikini competition and placing fourth amongst like a bunch of little 20 somethings after having our daughter. So I mean, she gave birth to our daughter and a year later is competing, and she didn't starve herself. Let me just tell you that she didn't starve herself. She was sending me out at McDonald's all the time at 2 a.m. to go get her jalapeno double and Snickers ice cream bars and everything. So, but man, I mean, I could show pictures of her competing a year later and you just wouldn't believe it. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So anyway, give her a follow if you're interested. If you've got sleeping problems, health problems, she's not a doctor, and everything she does and focuses on is natural. Even if I talk about like, hey, I'm kind of thinking this, I was looking into that, I might go have a doctor check me out. She's like, listen, we can figure it out. We'll figure it out naturally. And, some of the stuff she's done and made me do has helped me immensely, from sleep to you name it. For those of you that don't know, 94 days away from Rare Evo. Make sure you guys, if you're interested, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be speaking. I'm going to have a booth for Wargram, my trading card game that we've been working on. This is going to be good. I'm getting a lot of messages. I'm going to try my best to try and meet everyone out there that wants to meet, shake hands. We want to drink, because I want to be able to walk out of that place on my own merit. So, but we'll see. I know Charles and we have plans to meet, and I think we're going to try and do some sort of podcast out of his Black Hawk helicopter. So that'll be really interesting. Check out wargram.io. I know I did a little kind of a test run of our beta alpha. It's actually not even in beta yet, where I was playing Crypto Face, and after, in hindsight, we learned like, well, I can't play that game because it's in the browser. You can play it in your browser. You're gonna be able to play it on anything. you can't stream in a browser and suck up all the resources and try to get 130 frames per second at the same time. So that was really wonky. But I mean, it was cool. It was fun. It kind of gave everybody kind of a look at what was going on. Also, I am trading Solana. I know I don't like Solana, but number go up, damn it. And, a lot of my concern about Solana and people aping into it and all of the influencers all over the place constantly pumping it, it's just a greedy play, in my opinion. And it's just like they don't really care about the tech or that it falls apart and shuts down or any of that stuff. They don't care about any of that. All they care about is number go up. And everybody has this idea that like the number's always going to go up. Like it's just always going to be booming. It's always going to be great. And maybe it does. Who knows? Who am I to judge? I'm always right sometimes. So I figure, I don't really want to buy and hold Solana, but I'm going to trade it on my bot. And we have we've launched a new update to Crow Trader, and I'm going to start referencing this and see what we do. I just started this today. I'm running a 15-minute candle. And my back test was, over 30 days, my back testing of my strategy, which is basically buy $100 worth on a 10-tier DCA. So if the price drops a percent against USD, because my dad was like, listen, man, working on all the API data and everything to get Crow Trader kicking off on Coinbase properly, everything's in USD. Like the bulk of the volume and the easy access trades are basically using USD as a base pair. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm testing it with Solana, SMA time frame of 20, standard deviation 2, low band. I'm using the Bollinger Band strategy, low band to 75, gain of 1% as the goal, true gain lock true, historical bar count 10, cooldown of 1, DCA enabled true, which is a 10 tier at 1% at DCAs. DCA percent 1, DCA percent type fixed, DCA max buy count 10. So that means basically the price drops by 1% 10 times. I'll continue adding to my position to average down my entry price, and then it'll continue looking for an exit. So I'll start referencing this, and as I add to this account, I'll continue, doing back tests and showing people kind of what the bot is doing, because we've lowered the price now, and you can basically buy Crow Trader with pretty much anything. You can buy it. I think you can even buy it with PayPal now. We basically changed it so that we can better control the pricing, because if you're trying to price this bot out with Bitcoin, as Bitcoin continues to go up in value, I mean, people can. It's like, oh, I'm not paying $5,000 for a trading bot because, 0.005 Bitcoin was only $300 like 2 years ago. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense to anybody. So we're changing things around. So go check that out if you're interested. And I will continue sharing my, basically what I do. Also, if you're in the Tampa area, and I'm doing all of these updates, these quick updates as people kind of enter the chat and enter the stream, get their notifications and so forth, because I'm really I'm really interested in the fact that my Twitter account tends to get 2 or 3 times more views than my YouTube does. And it's kind of sad in a way, considering I've been streaming and putting content out on YouTube since 2017. And, the algorithm doesn't like me. I mean, you really have to, you have to be in like lockstep with what everybody's doing in order to get really good suggested, recommended, all that kind of stuff that feeds your views. And I just don't do any of that stuff because I'm too old to give a shit. So it is what it is. But it's time for love. It will be time for love in 18 days and 38 minutes. So if you're going to be in the Tampa area, make sure you get your tickets. You click this, buy tickets now, and you can get them. Some more tickets are selling, still not significant number. We've got like 738 seats, and I think we've got like 80, maybe 76, 77 tickets sold. But typically with stuff like this, it's always the last 2 weeks that everybody just bomb rushes the ticket counters and things. So we'll see what happens. The bulk of the advertising and things don't even start for, I think, like maybe another week or so. They're going to be billboards all over, and there's all kinds of stuff kicking off the last couple weeks. Also, I know that everybody wants me to cover this, and I'm going to be covering it soon. This is the Apex Fusion official tokenomics, May of 2024. I'm going to be going into this. I'm probably going to do a deep dive tokenomics video for tomorrow. So if you're interested in my take on the Apex Fusion official tokenomics, and what everything means and how this all breaks down, I'm going to be studying this through and through, because I have not honestly had a chance to look at the full tokenomics. This is a 30-page tokenomics document. Okay. This is as in-depth as you can get in the tokenomics of a project, and we're going to dive into it, but I'm probably going to be doing that and getting it all ready for a video tomorrow. It's not going to be right now or today. I've got a paid segment that I want to cover that I think some of you guys are going to have some fun with. And I'm going to go ahead and just do that now real quick, because why not? This is Vinity. Now, full disclosure of this, they pumped me full of Vi tokens. Okay. They basically gave me $24,000 or something like that in Vi tokens. And this is over. Here's the thing I want to address to you guys. Yes, this is a paid relationship, but this is going to be ongoing for probably the majority of 2024. Because what we did was I had somebody that I trust come to me and say, hey, here's a project that we really think you're going to like. And you're either going to love it or you hate it, but we think you're going to like it. Come to find out, this is another project founder that's been watching my channel since 2017, did insanely well on Cardano, blah, 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 blah. I'm hearing this so much now lately. It's insane. Which great. That's great. But he's spent millions building this with a team. And basically what this is it's kind of a, it's basically like a DeFi staking pool system, but you can reverse stake your tokens and get Ethereum back. And there's a whole economy around this. And I'm not going to dive into all of that yet. But what I did was they gave me it was about 24 grand, I think, of their Vi token. And then he said, okay, now I want you to go in and I want you to reverse stake that Vi token. So open a reverse staking pool. You can see it down here. And then it stakes my Vi and sends me back like 80% of its value in Ethereum. And then I can reverse and I can buy more Vi tokens and keep doing it if I want. I did it twice with the tokens that I had. So you can see I basically have $35,400 now in my staking. Okay, it's grown substantially already. And I just did this last Friday, I think it was. And I know of a couple, they're going after all of the big YouTubers. And so I know Crypto Keeper has been doing some videos, actually went to Colombia, sat down with the founder, Sergio, sat down with him personally, went to a couple of the clubs he owns there and had a great time. I had a big call with Sergio, one-on-one. It was a private call where we're talking about everything. I'm going to have him on publicly. And he's like, listen, Crow, I've been a long-time fan of yours. He's like, this is very much on the up and up. Before I agreed to even touch this, the first thing I did was I went and I read all of their security audits. There were two major security audits that I read through pretty much in detail to make sure that this wasn't some bourgeois, as I say. And so, basically there's a link down below. I'm going to be having Sergio on soon. I thought maybe today, but it might be Wednesday. And we're going to break down the economics of this, what it all means, how everything works in detail. But this has been pretty interesting so far. And basically, all of the Vi tokens are backed by Ethereum. So total yield generated 1194 Ethereum. That's $3.5 million. Okay. Because what happens is when people, they go to a DEX and they buy Vi tokens and then they reverse stake the Vi tokens on Vinity, and they get basically like 80% of that back at Ethereum. And then what happens is that it ultimately pushes the price up. The demand of the Vi tokens gets pushed up. So rather than basically buy them on an exchange, once the price of it gets to a little over 60 cents, then you can just mint new Vi tokens. Okay. And so when you're minting these Vi tokens, you're minting them with Ethereum. So basically the Vi token value is then locked in a smart contract, okay, at that price. and now that's the value of the Vi token. And so then that starts to adjust the value. I mean, honestly, it's kind of mind-blowing, and it's a little genius, if I'm honest. But the way they have it set up is so that people aren't worried about being rug pulled necessarily. And he said, listen, when I come on, ask me every and any hard question you've got. He's like, I want people to know what this is about, why it works, how it works, and all the details. So when I go live with Sergio, I want all of you DeFi heads in there to help me out. I want to grill them. I want to grill Sergio. He's like, bring it, let's do it, let's break it down, whatever you want to talk about. And because he's willing to do that, and his face and name, like this, he's not anonymous, like they're not anonymous. So I'm very much interested. I'm in. I mean, I basically signed an agreement. I'm like, let's try it, let's see. As long as people are doing well with it, and it's fun and it's transparent and everything, and you're willing to come on and you're willing to talk about it and you're not hiding and it's not some weird shady thing, then let's go ahead. I mean, I am considering this an absolute 100% degen play. I'm just being straight up. This is one of those things that, the people that get into it early obviously tend to do better. And as time goes on, but he's like, dude, I want this to be around for the next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. He's like, I don't want this to be a flash in the pan thing. Of course, who would? But if you're interested, for the time being, I would suggest going and reading their audits, audited and verified, which you just don't see this kind of thing very often. So I'm very much like, okay, I respect that. Onboard Certic, they spend some money on these audits, and I would encourage anyone that's interested to go check those out first, because that's what initially started getting me like, okay, this is cool. You don't see this very often. And then talking to Sergio directly, and he explained a lot of this stuff. And so I'm going to have him on. But yeah, this is where I'm at. I'm doing it now. Keep in mind though, this didn't cost me anything, so technically there's no risk to me. If disaster happened, I don't really lose anything. Now, granted, I could effectively pull this out, take all the value out, and just continue talking about it, but I'm not going to do that. I want everybody to see how this goes, for better or worse, over time. And that's basically the reason I'm willing to do it. And the other reason why I'm doing this is because with everything that I've learned about Vinity and the number of people behind the scenes that I know that are interested in it and like it, and my own reading of the audit documents and just the way this is all structured, if this system fails in any way, I'll never touch anything like it ever again. And that's where I'm standing. To me, this is kind of a public experiment to see how sustainable is something like this long term, and how many people actually benefit. And because if this goes to shit in any way, I'm done. Anytime anybody comes to me like, oh, I've got this genius, brilliant freaking thing and all the security and everything is transparent, and I'm like, whatever, I don't care. I don't want to hear it. But this is one of the first big DeFi kind of plays I've ever done, really. People love the DeFi, people love the yield and the staking and all of that. And so, let's just say I'm interested. I'm willing to try it out. I'm willing to share my experience, but I'm still weary. It doesn't matter how amazing something sounds. I'm still weary. So just know that going in, if you start seeing the numbers go up and you get excited, just make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you know what you're getting into. Maybe wait until I've talked with Sergio and me and my community. All of you guys are grilling him with questions, and let's just see what does this become. And that's kind of where I'm at. But we're gonna stick with it, and we're gonna see if this turns into a huge windfall of profits for everyone, or if it becomes a shit show. I'm just gonna be honest. But so far I like it, and everyone else I've talked to really seems to like it as well. So I'll leave it at that for now. You know me, I just call it how I see it. Currently in Cardano land with the Cardano price, I wanted to show this a little bit, because it's pretty interesting on how each market is very much similar, and yet still fairly different at the same time. So this is Cardano back in 2020, as we headed into the halving of 2020. And prior to the halving, you can see the price against Ethereum. So Cardano's priced against Ethereum went a full blast down. I mean, over a pretty decent period of time, it dropped 67.33%. And now here we are leading into the halving, where it did something similar, but it was in a shortened time frame. And here we only dropped 53.4% against Ethereum. Why? Well, a part of me believes it's because of the staking, the more adoption that we've had. There's a lot more going on in the ecosystem. There's just a lot more happening. And if you see, and this is a weekly candle, these are weekly charts here. And if you can see, we're literally just starting to flicker green for the week as we start off today. And I'm very curious to see if we start turning around the same way we did here, because from here, from the date of the halving, we went up against Ethereum. Now, this isn't even just against USD. This is against Ethereum. So while Ethereum's getting higher in USD value, so is Cardano, but Cardano starts to grow faster in value than it basically went down in value in the bear market. Does that make sense? Because here you can see in the 2020 cycle leading up into 2021, it went up 137%. And then it came back down 75%. So we get these ebbs and flows. Likely there were some big pumps in Ethereum at the time, and I don't remember what those were. But that would send Cardano's value against Ethereum down. Now, this isn't to say that Cardano wasn't going up in price against USD at the same time Ethereum was. This is just showing the ebbs and flows as they're both rising in value against USD, how Cardano would come up faster than than Ethereum, and then Ethereum would pass it up, and then Cardano skyrocketed up 600% from its local low after dropping 75. So you could basically average that out and say Cardano went up 500% against Ethereum in the 2021 market. Okay. And then, of course, started to work its way down. And then here we see something very similar, but to less detriment. You know, a lot of people are saying, oh, look at Cardano's price against everything. You know, Cardano's actually performing better this cycle than it did the last cycle. And that's just the fact of the matter. And so, you know, there's some other stuff that I'm going to cover with as it relates to that. Now, this is a chart for Bitcoin against the US dollar on a daily candle that I ripped this right off of Trade Travel Chill. I absolutely love this woman. She is my technical analysis guru, one of the few, honestly, that I reference and I watch what she says, and I really pay close attention. I've had her on here before. She's just, honest to God, you know, she looks at me like I'm this crypto legend, and I look at her the same way. She's not as big on YouTube because she's done other platforms before. But she's growing, and she's going to continue to get bigger, I'm sure, as her notoriety continues to rise. I absolutely adore her, and I absolutely value her work immensely. But she's basically showing what could potentially happen here in Bitcoin's price over the next month or so. And, you know, everybody says, you know, selling may go away. And that's ultimately what it's been looking like so far with the month of May. But we're starting to reverse a bit out of this. And the question is, you can see this lower line here, this lower orange line, and you can see the green line up here. This is the pi cycle top indicator. So basically, when the orange line crosses over the green, that's the peak of the market historically. Of course, we always have to say it could always change, but so far this has been dead ass accurate to the day every cycle so far. And typically when we're getting into the kind of price action and the position in the market we're in, this is almost like a big support line. And so we bounced off of the support line with a couple of wicks before we peak back up. And then we established this level 2 drop. And the question is are we going to get this level 3 or not? And typically, you know, she was referencing, go watch her recent video about this if you want an in-depth analysis, because she breaks it down to the 4 hour as well. And basically saying on a daily candle, this looks like we could be setting this up for like a big W, and the right side of the W is forming, and that we could hit basically this low level of the level 3 to conclude a 3-level drop. But on a 4 hour, it's already looking as though it's potentially going to pull us out of that. And that ultimately this is the main line of liquidity for this zone, which is around the $56,000 mark. And then the area of interest is basically between 50 and 54,500 or so. So if we could potentially come down to this zone in the level 3 before we get a recovery and start moving back to the upside as we move further into June, and then we could start seeing some parabolic runs and the typical bull run market stuff that we are likely expecting to see in 2024. So we'll have to see. I'm still currently in a negative $5,740 long trade at 3x leverage on my Fairdesk platform. They have been such a great supporter of me. They don't harass me. They don't give me any trouble. I do videos about my leverage trading when I can. I've been locked up in this long for so long, and I don't want to exit the position. So I'm not showing a lot of like day trading because I basically got trapped at a long and I didn't want to exit out of it. My liquidation price is at 47,630. I'm hoping we don't see that. It doesn't look like we should, especially if the bottom of the level of interest is bottoming out at around 50,000 to 54,000 before we get a significant reversal. But the thing about it is you can always get that evil little market maker wick that's just a big middle finger to you that says, don't hold against me because I control these here markets and you're now screwed. But we'll have to wait and see. The hacker that stole over $70 million worth of crypto, isn't this interesting? Decided to return 68 of it. When this happened, what did I tell everybody? I said, I don't care how anonymous things seem, and I don't care what you guys think. I know that governments and big people know how to track all of this shit. I don't care how they're trying to get away with stuff nowadays. I even told some people privately, I'm like, I'll bet you one way or another, this guy's getting his money back. Whether it's because the government steps in, tracks everything down, and they keep its resolve under the radar or what. But I said one way or another, I believe this guy's going to get his money back. So basically, it looks like the hacker kept $2 million for his trouble and said, here's your 68 million. I just find this very, very interesting. They had to have, I guess, so I'll read this. A hacker who managed to steal nearly $70 million in crypto from a whale has returned almost everything, according to on-chain data. Earlier this month, a hacker successfully fished a whale using what's known as an address poisoning scheme. The scheme involves sending someone a small amount of crypto with an address that looks similar to the victim's wallet. The tactic is designed to trick the victim into copying the bad actor's address from their transaction history and having the crypto sent to that wallet instead. God, that's terrible. Blockchain security from Certic notes that the scammer mimicked a transfer of 0.05 Ethereum, which tricked the victim into sending 1,155 wrapped Bitcoin worth $69.3 million to the wrong address. The hacker subsequently swapped the wrapped Bitcoin stack into 23,000 Ethereum. Oh my gosh, it's so terrible. I can't even imagine the horror of discovering that. However, after an exchange of words over Etherscan's messaging service, the hacker appears to have been compelled to send the crypto assets back to the whale. And you know what? Smart on that hacker's part. He stole 68.3 million. He returned 68. He made a cool 1.3 million for his trouble. And I'm sure it was some sort of deal where the guy says, listen, I won't, a guy that's trading $70 million in crypto, whether it could be a government guy, it could be a major billionaire with lots of clout, power, and political connections. It could have been anything. Stealing that much money from somebody like that takes balls the size of Wyoming. And the reality is something tells me this guy, they got into contact and he said, listen, good job. You got me. You caught me slipping. I won't come after you and your entire family if you just return, keep a little bit for your trouble. Job well done. Send the rest to me and I'll leave you alone. And something tells me that was enough to get this guy to send back the bulk of it. So listen, and here's the thing, like I keep saying, man, I know of big hacks and things that have happened in the past that were quietly resolved. And honestly, I don't think that the government necessarily wants the public to know how easily they can track a lot of this stuff already. I just don't. And the thing is that, you know, do I want CBDCs? No, I don't. I don't want them controlling like how many steaks I have. I tried going on a low steak, like a low red meat diet, and I started bruising all the time. And a doctor said I needed to have more red meat because I didn't have enough iron in my diet. So, you know, it's like, and now the government basically wants me to walk around being a big bruised behemoth because I'm not going to be able to get the right iron and supplements. Iron supplements and things just don't get absorbed properly. So, you know, it's like, and I know I don't want to eat crickets either. And I don't want to have cricket milkshakes. I'm not with that, you know? So, yeah, I don't want CBDCs, but the reality is that they can track all this stuff anyway. It doesn't matter whether it's a CBDC or a cryptocurrency. The only difference is that just regular blockchain tech allows us the freedom to do what we want with it. Crypto analyst Ucopy took X, formerly Twitter, to share their prediction for the XRP price by Ripple. The chart attached with the post puts the altcoin in a 7-year accumulation trend, which is set to end soon and trigger an upward rally for the price. So for those of you out there that are in the XRP army, hopefully this is a nice big break for you. We'll see. I don't know. The crypto analyst pointed out that cryptocurrency is forming a triangle along the accumulation trend, which has happened once before in history. The first time was between 2013 and 2017, when the XRP price saw a long, drawn-out accumulation. However, at the end of this accumulation was the icing on the cake as the price rallied from around 0.005 cents to $2.50 in the space of just a year. This translated to an almost 500,000 percent increase in price. And, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. And honestly, I don't hold any more XRP. I got out of it a long time ago. You know, quite frankly, the SEC just basically scared me right out of it because I'm like, you know, I don't want any bullshit. And this was before, you know, this was when the case started. And I'm like, you know, I felt like they were going after XRP because it was kind of low hanging fruit. And it was kind of like, you know, they made a whole lot of money off of something that we're going to try and classify as a security, and we're going to go after them. And XRP fought with the gloves off and won the case. And ultimately, you know, whether or not they're tied up in appeals forever and a day or not, you know, I think XRP clearly won. And if XRP is not a security, then I feel like frivolous claims against like random tokens out there that have done really well just don't hold anywhere near as much water as they once would have prior to this. And, you know, maybe it's time for XRP holders to get a break. I don't know, because I'm sure a lot of people are into it. And hopefully it does really well for everyone. The Cardano community is currently speculating about whether or not the Gemini exchange is preparing to list the ADA token. Frederick Gregard, the CEO of the Cardano Foundation, recently stated that he was working with major exchanges in order to list Cardano-based tokens. We've also engaged, quote, we've also engaged with several exchanges because I want way more Cardano native assets listed on exchanges, he said. On Saturday, Gemini published a Cryptopedia post penned by Gregard that delves into the basics of Cardano, which includes its structure, consensus algorithm, programming languages, as well as Cardano's roadmap. So hopefully that'll happen. You know, we'll see. And then, of course, Charles Hoskinson has been very vocal lately on his stance against the current administration's attempted just constant attack, bombardment of the cryptocurrency space. If there's anything that we know about the politics of the current administration, is they don't want freedom. They don't want freedom of speech. They don't want, basically, it's you've got to go in line. You have to stay on lockstep in line with everyone else that they've already got bought into their whatever you want to call it. And that's it. You're not allowed to test or challenge anything. And it's funny because if you're paying any attention today, folks, so much of the narratives of 2020 have just been burning to the ground in a big way. And I've also noticed that a lot of the people that used to like that I knew privately, you know, friends who were constantly telling me like I'm the fool, I'm a conspiracy theorist, I'm an idiot, are now all very silent. I mean, because what do you have to say? None of them really have the accountability of self to say, you know what, I was wrong. I berated you. I insulted you. I called you everything in the book. I thought I was right. And my self-righteous and egotistical mentality was basically fueling my desire to shut you down at every turn and make you feel stupid for believing something that I didn't, even though you spent a hell of a lot more time researching and trying to find the truth than I did, because really the only thing I would do is scan headlines every day for about 10 minutes. And then I would spit on you for believing anything outside of what those headlines told me. Not one of them will say, I am sorry for being wrong. I'm sorry for the way I talk to you. I'm sorry for this or that. No, that's too much, because the arrogance of that group, and the belief that, well, I have more money than you, I know more. I went to college, I know more. I have a degree, I know more. Look at how well I'm doing in life, I know more. And that was a hard argument for a lot of these people to make with me personally, because, well, some of those things just weren't true. And you know, so I would say, well, look, by this metric, by your metric, I should potentially know a hell of a lot more than you do. And I do, even though I am not a college graduate. Luckily, I skipped all brainwashing associations early on, and just kind of stuck to my own rails. And so far, I mean, I feel like it's worked out pretty well. But, you know, Charles has been very, very open about his support of RFK Jr., which I like RFK Jr. a lot myself personally. I've actually read quite a bit of his book, The Real Dr. Fauci, which I found absolutely mind-boggling, if not infuriating, and the idea that RFK hasn't been sued at all for the contents, any of the contents of that book, really should tell people a lot, especially in the litigious nature of society today, where everybody's trying to sue everybody for everything, whether it was like the fault of someone else or not. I mean, that's just the, you know, it blows my mind. But listen, I know that Charles can be divisive with his politics and his political stance. But the reality is I think Charles is really trying everything he can to try and let people know and open up the eyes of people to say, listen, if you talk to a lot of people on one side of the aisle, they're very kind of anti-crypto, right? Because they're like, you know, they look at it as it's all about money making. It's all about greed. It's all about scams and all about evil and all this other. It's just, I don't know why, but that's the way they look at it. Like if it's, you know, I like money. I like green money because there's paper, and paper came from trees. And, you know, even though at the same time they're trying to protect the trees, I don't know. None of it really makes much sense to me. It's kind of a cherry picking of ideals and things that benefit the individual over the everyone. But it's all veiled as I believe this and I am trying to perpetuate this because of the way it helps everyone, even though that's really never the case. So I look at it and I see what Charles does to try and push people into thinking for themselves. And to understand that, you know, the overall agenda for a lot of what we see going on today is to control what we eat, control where we go, what we do, what we think, what we say. And it's really not double plus good. Okay. I mean, a lot of this stuff is scary to anybody that has a methodology for freedom of thought. You know, I prefer thinking for myself, not being told what to think or not being told my opinions. You know, it's like that line in G.I. Jane where he slams the door in G.I. Jane's face and he's like, you know, if I want your opinion, I'll give it to you. And it's just kind of what I see so much of on one side of the political aisle. And it's very disturbing, honestly. If you're watching it from the outside looking in, it's actually quite disturbing. And a lot of these people just don't get it. They don't see it. They just continue pushing. And it's ridiculous. But ultimately, you know, these are going to be the first people that adopt the CBDCs and are all about them. Because there are going to be benefits associated with, I'm sure, with the launch of these CBDCs in the US that they're going to want to benefit from. And whether that's a free cheeseburger and French fries, or something, you know what I mean? It's the incentive to adopt this is going to get them to very quickly change their tone about how much they don't like the system and money and crypto and everything else. I honestly, it's going to be very, very sad because mark my words, this is going to become a short someday. And what I'm saying right now is going to be played back to these people, and they're just going to go silent. And that's the one thing I've learned about a lot of these folks is if you don't give them a venue to act irrationally with anger and contempt, with insults and bravado and arrogance, they have nothing to say. I mean, that's really the truth. They just don't have anything to say. And typically when they are saying something, it's regurgitating the thoughts or the sentence or the headline that they just were, touched with, not so long ago. And it's really irritating. Moving on to happier things. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Cornucopias. And there is some big news that's been going on. So I'm going to play this little video while I'm going over some of the latest announcements, because this video is like 45 minutes long. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but this is ultimately showing basically Solus 3 and kind of what the land looks like, how massive it is, how vast this all is. And the thing of it is, this is obviously using Unreal Engine 5, which offers a whole new slew of tools and things. But a lot of this is very much meticulously crafted. This isn't, they do use some, what's the word I'm looking for? Where everything's generated. I can't even remember. My mind is fried at the moment. I can't remember the term, but you know what I'm talking about. But what they would do is they would take a lot of the randomly generated land masses and things, and then they would go in and fine tune them and craft them by hand, which is something that you just don't see in any real big open world games anymore. A lot of procedurally generated. That's what I'm thinking of. I had to forget about it. Sometimes I just get a little brain fart. And yes, you notice my shirt, Cardano. I need more Cardano shirts. I really do. I need more Cardano shirts. But anyway, I'm going to cover on this Cornucopias leak. What's funny is the Cornucopias team calls their videos leaks. Those aren't leaks. Leaks are. Oh, now I'm getting messages. None of our land is procedurally generated. Oh, okay. So apparently I went live and Rob on the team is watching the stream. None of their land is procedurally generated. That's actually kind of insane, because I don't even know how you do that with such big land masses. Only stones on the ground and tiny details. Okay, interesting. So, all right, well, there you go. None of this is procedurally generated. And Rob, who's messaging me, is this guy right here in the center. It's good to know that they still watch my channel. But we've been in a group together for, I don't know how long it's been, a couple years now, where I basically, all I do in the group is I say when build, and they say soon enough, like chill out, buzz off, we're building. So that's kind of the running joke I throw into chat every now and then. So anyway, as you're watching this avatar run through Solus 3, I'm going to just kind of touch on some of what's been going on in my notes. In the last 30 minutes of the video, they showed the world exclusive first look of Solus 2 and Solus 3, along with new shots from Solus 1. So for those of you that don't, you can just say Solus revealed and you can watch this video. This is one of the first times I've seen one of their videos break close to 3,000 views. And like the interest is continuing to go up more and more in Cornucopias. And I'm checking. I know I have more than one mythic land. I know I bought like 3 or 4 land plots, and I think I bought some of those on another wallet, and I have many. So I have to figure out where the hell all my land is before this land rush happens. All 3 of these worlds are 8 kilometers by 8 kilometers and have player-owned NFT land plots. I still don't know how I'm going to go about picking my land. Like there's so much that I still want to know about what my capabilities are going to be for my dome and how my land plots can play a role in supporting that dome. And I was thinking last night, as a matter of fact, I was thinking I want to figure out I might really plan out the system that I would love to have built for my dome. And I want to figure out exactly how to get that done, and I don't really want to say much about it because I don't want somebody else to try and rip me off and try and do it before I do. The team already knows they already have a good idea as to what I want to accomplish. But let's just say that I have a very interesting and unique thing that I want to be able to establish a completely different system in the game world that will utilize a lot of the resources that can be mined up and things in the world, and how those resources are used And let's just say I need an arena to do it, and I want to build an arena in my dome amongst other things. And I need to build out a system to like, how does this make sense? How does this work? And so we'll see. But anyway, they will all be released all together in the prospecting build coming after consensus build, which will show off in Austin at the end of this month. I really wish I was going to consensus, but I'm not. I was originally thinking I was going to consensus to be a part of the karate combat fights because I was going to train Moon Daddy, my previous opponent, to fight the guy from the Fire Festival. And apparently, I guess, as I understand it, like, well, let's just say that didn't work out. Moon Daddy was very excited about it. He was like, should I do this? And I'm like, absolutely, you should do this. Like, I will train you personally. I will prepare that big body of yours, even though compared to me, he looked small. And everybody thought it was like a big mismatch because he looked small compared to me. But he's 6'4", 6'5", 230. Was it Brian? I don't remember the guy's name, but the Fire Festival organizer, founder, whatever. He's like 6'4", very same size. And I just, for whatever reason, I don't think he wanted to fight Moon Daddy, which to me didn't make any sense, but to each their own. I guess he's fighting J Chains. And then Ellie, girl Ellie, she's a big Web3 gamer on Twitter. Trying to turn her into a Cardano girl, but dang it, I don't think she's having it. I don't know. But anyway, she looked incredible. I saw her do some of her pad work in Thailand, and I'm like, I don't know who this girl is, but she's stunning and she's amazing. Like, her handwork, her pad work was amazing. And I have no idea who she's fighting, but I'm very much curious to see what the outcome of that is, because I think she's probably going to do pretty well. She's got kind of an attitude. She's got a different way. She's not like a girly girl gamer. She's like not the e-girl, like the woo-woo. She's not that kind of chick. She's in Thailand kicking the shit out of these pads, and like, she looks like a grinder. Like, she looks like she's going to be solid. So I'm excited. I'm not even sure what other fights are on there, but anyway, my wife's play is the end of this month on May 31st, obviously, and I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be helping support that. And consensus obviously is like the biggest thing every year, but I'm proud to say that I've got more important shit to do. So I'm not going to be there, but I am curious to see what the Cornucopias team reveals while they're there. I'm pretty excited about that. The Land Rush event will be held on their website, where NFT landowners will be able to claim their land spots. The web interface is obviously available to all, with those lucky enough to have game access, being able to run around and compare the plots, along with looking at what utilities are nearby. Maybe they want to be in a town, maybe near a lake for fishing, maybe near a mine. I know I want to be near a mine, personally, but I don't know. I still don't know fully like how we're going to be able to say, because as I understand it, mythic, legendary, common, uncommon, I think that just means that you get first dibs. So it's not necessarily like, oh, my mythic land is going to have substantially more value than a common land. As I understand it, it just means that gives me the right to pick my land plots before people with lesser NFTs. And I could be wrong, but I think that's kind of how it is. So if I just randomly go in and I pick just any old land mass, okay, well, I got to pick it first, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the best one, right? So yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff. I'm so excited about Cornucopias and where this thing is coming. I really am. Key points. We build all our own assets. So yeah, I mean, everything you see is all custom. So me saying that some of it was probably procedurally generated was me being an idiot, because that's not the case. Just like some rocks and like minor details and things. So that's amazing. Nothing is bought off of any marketplace. All the trees, mountains, trails, land sculptures, everything is done in-house by hand. Folks, I mean, look at that. That's just insane. You know, I wonder if I can make that. I'm going to make this full screen while I talk for a little bit. Can I maybe do this? Let me see. Yeah, there we go. Now I'm there and you can see this a little bigger. The quality is lots better than just allowing UE5 to procedurally generate the entire world. Handcrafted versus off the shelf, in my opinion, equals higher quality value proposition. It does, and it keeps things unique to itself. and I totally agree. And I can understand why they would be like, no, Crow, we're not doing anything procedurally generated. This is all custom shit by hand. Get it right. I get it. Because that is a big deal. And, while a lot of UE5 development teams are going to be reusing a lot of the same assets and things because it's just easy to do, it's going to be the worlds that are more immersive with their own custom materials, their own custom stuff that are going to stand the test of time because they're not going to be duplicated. So, yeah, no, I get it. And that's really daggone cool. Takes longer and costs a lot more, but means we will be unique and around a long time. Totally agree. I mean, I just said that. That's exactly true. No AAA game in the past has ever succeeded with off-the-shelf assets. Interesting note. I didn't know that. And recently they announced a new non-technical way for node owners to be able to subscribe to a service and delegate their node license to a public node pool for others to manage on their behalf, and they will still be able to receive rewards. Now, I bought an NFT node, like a node NFT. I don't even know where it is. I'm not seeing it. It's not listed in my assets on the Cornucopias website, and I'm pretty sure that I used that wallet, my Play Money wallet. So I'm not sure. I need to double check on that, but I'm not seeing that. But apparently I need like 7 more. So I need to go check the marketplace and see like what's available, because I wouldn't mind having enough. I wouldn't mind running a node, or even just having those and then letting somebody else run the node using this new system. I'll have to dive into that system. The public node pool operators will not only be able to get rewards for their own node licenses, but also additional rewards for those that delegate to them. So, yeah, I would like to have a node. I think I might go and I'll see what the cost of those things are. Hopefully, I'm not jacking the price of them onto myself. To be a public node pool operator, you need to own at least 8 file node NFTs, either on Cardano and or base chain. Combination of both is fine. We are releasing a detailed document on the new node delegation system this week. Okay, so when that comes out, I'll probably do another video covering it, because I have questions, and I'm just not that. I'm not a super technical guy. Like my Cardano, my Crow node for Cardano, I mean, I have a developer, a full stack dev that maintains that for me. I don't know how to do that. We opened an ISPO. SPOs, we already have a pool. We increased the rewards to 115%. The way this works, the community stakes their Cardano wallets to the COPIC, COPIC stake pool, and instead of receiving ADA, they will be able to claim COPI instead of the value of the ADA, 115%. So they could potentially just arbitrage COPI to ADA if they wanted to. That's cool, but I think I'm going to stick with the COPI for now. Maybe once Cornucopias hits $2, then I would do that. But until then, I'm going to wait for that rise, because I really do see a $2 COPI. I'm hoping to see a $2 COPI by the end of the year. COPIC will remain active for a year, or until we have released 15 million COPI tokens, whichever comes first. So yeah, I would check out that video and get it all straight from the horse's mouths if you're interested. If you're not interested in Cornucopias yet, I don't know what you're waiting on, folks, because this is just going to be absolutely huge, and I'm super pumped about it. I'm actually kind of curious if there's a way, or if anybody's thought about potentially setting this up to run on like the Quest or like any of these VR platforms. I'm guessing it wouldn't be too difficult. Especially with UE5. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm getting other messages from my Wargrim developer because he's been doing stuff with Google lately, and Wargrim. But yeah, anyway, check it out, guys, if you're interested in that, because I think this is going to be a really big deal. I'm hoping for a $2 COPI token. Realistically, even if it only got to $1 from I don't even know what it is right now. Maybe is it 6 cents, 7 cents? I'm not sure. But yeah, I've got high hopes, so we'll see. I've been live almost an hour already. There's 1,120 of you guys watching, and yeah, I just wanted to cover a lot of the news and stuff that's going on today. So hopefully you guys have been lightly entertained. I'll take a couple of questions real quick before I sign off and get on with my day. I just had blood done. I'm doing lab work. Yeah, there's just a lot, and I've got so much stuff, and I really do. I'm going to study the hell out of these tokenomics because I want to give them a real fair deal. They haven't been distributed yet. NFT nodes dropping July. Oh, so okay, Josh, are you saying that I bought it and I'm entitled to it, but they haven't been dropped to wallets yet? So then I couldn't go out and buy them on a secondary market yet either. Is that it? Or can I just still go buy them off of the marketplace or something? I don't know. I'll have to talk to the team and find out because I need to find out how much they are and get I need 7 more apparently. So I'll get more details on that and I'll cover it here in another video. Poe Man, what's going on, brother? Poe Man 13. Good to go, friends. Thanks, Crow. Oh, he's a gotta go. All right. He's like, peace out, fools. Already got some NFTs and also nodes. Cornucopias is awesome. I'm so confused. Like, there is so much stuff pouring out about Cornucopias all the time. I personally can't keep track. You'd almost have to make it like a 24-hour video stream. Like, oh, here's some more stuff that's Cornucopias, and here's another system. Here's another NFT. Here's another this. Here's another that. And here's where all this money's going. Look at this huge freaking endless sea of cool shit. I'm no game developer, but I bet it's harder than I think to accomplish this. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about, Jeff, but yeah, I agree. I'm sure it is. The video is speeded up on purpose as there was so much land to walk on. Yeah, it's 8 kilometers by 8 kilometers. You know how big that is? I mean, that's just one. That's like Solus 2, Solus 3. I mean, it's going to be insane. I'm pretty sure I want to be on Solus 1 though, because I feel like that's just going to be the default, isn't it? Like when people are just dumped into the world. So we'll see. PS5, I don't think so, because I think when you're playing the game, you're probably going to have to be logged in with a Cardano wallet, I'm guessing, because it's going to check what assets you have, like what your NFTs are. Do you have any of the vehicles and all that? Unless there's a system coming out for PS5 or consoles that I'm not aware of, maybe Steam, but I'm not 100% on that. I don't see this launching on. It would be great if it did, because I'd love to play this with a console controller on my TV and be able to just play this late at night, mining and stuff. Look how smooth that movement is. This looks amazing. Yeah, dude. I mean, it looks sick. You got to watch the video directly to really put it into perspective. It looks absolutely phenomenal. Cornucopias really is going to just suck up all the market cap for a lot of these other Web3 applications. I know that there are a lot out there that are hopeful, and they could be doing cool things, on their own merit. But I think once people are allowed to get into Cornucopias and start building on their land, I'm telling you, I don't see anybody doing anything else. I just think that's going to be huge. And the content that's going to be coming out for Cornucopias, and everybody showing their what they're building and what they're doing on their land titles or their land plots and things like that. I just think it's going to be absolutely bonkers. And I'm going to be doing videos covering the top 10 of the week. Look at this one, look at that one. I mean, just getting ideas for myself. So I'm super pumped about it. Those recommended videos look solid. Yeah, they do. I mean, yeah. Without repeating myself a million times, it's going to be pretty daggone cool. So listen, folks, thanks for joining me this afternoon. I am the Crypto Crow. Until next time, crow your coins. I'll see you soon. And make sure you go follow my wife's new channel. And all the links, disclosures, disclaimers, everything's down below. So go check it out. I appreciate it. Until next time, see you guys soon. Crow your coins.